If the British Empire and its Commonwealth last for 1,000 years, men will still say this was their finest hour.
We stand for Queen,
Country, and video games. BRB UK.
worse teeth,
Better accents.
Hello, and indeed, ahoy hoy. And if you live in Coleman's Advent Calendar, guten Tag.
Oh, God.
No one's going to understand that, Dan.
They don't necessarily have to. I'm just showing that we are multicultural and we can speak German.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't speak much more German than that, but I can. That's Tim over there. Say hello, Tim.
Das ist kaputt. That's about the only German sentence I
Du
can
bist
say.
kaputt, Timothy.
Well, yeah.
And it's a man who's a man, and he's just woken up. It's Coleman.
Guten Abend.
Guten Abend. How are you doing? Hi.
Sorry, I just realised I tried to do my hi and I went a little bit Schwarzenegger. Hi.
So, what did you get in your advent calendar today, Coleman?
I got. Oh, see, I've not been opening them daily, so I've just opened like a week's worth. I've got a Karten Wasser Doppelbock Dunkel, which is a Bavarian beer,
No German classic.
Right.
and I got an Alpenkoing Gold
Muesli in a
Marzen,
can?
which doesn't say what type of beer that is, but I basically got a German advent calendar, which is all German beers.
Enjoy.
I will.
Excellent.
Not bad for my first day off work.
So, have you got any exciting advent calendars, Tim?
No, just boring chocolate ones.
Or just your Mr. November calendar once again?
Mr. November.
No, Mr. November calendar.
Basically,
Puts
November.
in November.
Requests on-
It's Tim Hicks.
On Twitter, no.
The sun's away and the guns are non-existent.
That's the thing I'm not doing for the benefit of mankind.
How are we going to theme Mr. November? In the Big Red Barrel calendar.
Well, it's got to involve a New Year.
Right, okay.
It's going to be strategically placed crap consoles that Tim, quote, invested in, I think is going to be kind of the props that they have.
The theme will be broken or obsolete technology.
Yes.
Are you thinking of like waking up Bleezy for this? Because this isn't ever going to happen in photograph.
You remember like the Jessica Chobot one where she's biting the controller? We'll recreate that, but it will be one of those Amstrad telephone computer things.
In a New Year.
I like it.
Yeah. I was yet again, my mind was being ravaged by the thought of
Jessica
Tim and
Chobot.
Speedos.
Okay,
Can I just say,
close enough.
Nelly on Twitter
And Facebook.
and Facebook, you really, you may love Speedos, you may think you love Speedos, but you are sadly mistaken.
I like, sorry to jump into the shout out section already, but we got like on Facebook, Richard Kurt going, I don't want a picture of Tim in a Speedo. Then we got Nelly going, I don't want a picture of Tim in a Speedo. Or a speedboat, in fact. And then we got a message from Carl Zuckman, and he's gone, I'll have it!
Is he calling dibs on the only photo of Tim in a pair of Speedos in existence?
There is no photo of me in a pair of...
Ah, you fool, you think you have destroyed the only copy.
Or so you think.
I have negatives.
Anyway, enough budgie smuggling for one episode.
Where does this... But I've never heard the term budgie
You
smuggling
never heard the
until
term
you
budgie
said
smuggler?
it. No, sausage smuggling.
No.
I think Budgie Smuggler, as far as I'm aware, is an Australianism, no?
Am I going to have to internet live?
No, I think we can live without it this week.
No.
No, leave a cliffhanger for next week. It'll be great. People will be hanging on the edge of their Speedos.
Oh God! It's the name of Australian underwear. I've now got loads of pictures of people in their pants.
Don't Google Budgie Smuggler.
God!
It's a
At least
bad-
they've waxed.
bad
I suppose that's a good thing. Anyway.
Good day.
Anyway, on Brighton News.
Brighton
Do you know
News?
what's more than 69,999,999?
80 million.
Yeah, 80 million's bigger than that. Yeah, that's very good. Any other takers?
90 100
90 million bigger still,
million.
Coleman.
$1 million.
Right.
Da,
Well,
da, da.
if I say okay, a number that's above 70 million but around 70.6 million, what would you say?
Yeah, 70 million.
Yeah. So that's how many PlayStation 4s have now been sold. 70.6 million of the suckers.
Also, 2 million PlayStation VRs.
Yeah.
1,900,000 of which have been bought by Timothy Hibbs.
I mean, if you think about it, because they announced a million, 2 months ago?
In July. So,
all right, okay.
That's not bad. That's still like.
No, what they've done, they've just turned the other screen on in the VR helmet. Oh, I've got two. Oh, there's a million there and a million there.
But apparently they sold a hell of a lot of them on Black Friday when they did that deal. And there is apparently another deal coming out in America that looks like another good deal as well. Hopefully that's one that will come out over here. But yeah, apparently it looks like they have sold a hell of a lot of them recently, so that's good.
Also, Dan, I think you'll find that you can't switch on the second screen as the lenses of the PlayStation VR are one singular screen. It's essentially a PlayStation Vita slammed into a headset.
You are correct, Coleman. I'm very sorry. I shall temporarily retract my adenoids as a mark of deference to your superb knowledge.
Excellent.
Yes, but along with those 70.6 million PlayStation 4s, that's 17.65 million per year since it's come out, stats fans.
That's a few.
They've also sold 617.8 million copies of PS4 games.
Wow.
That is like knocking on the door of 10 games per PS4, which isn't bad.
How many of them are duplicate or copies of Knack in Japan?
Well, 6 million of them are copies of Destiny that I've bought. 7 million are copies of Knack in Japan. And the rest of what Tim bought with is 2 million PSVRs, I think.
Yeah. Well, also they did say that they've sold 12.2 million PSVR titles as well.
PSVR?
PSVR.
It sounded like you said PRs. PSVR.
PSVR.
Me and Rooms were going to play the PSVR.
Bethany, would you pass the PSVR when you're done?
PSVR.
Playing the Windlands.
Oh, Tarquin. Oh, do put that move controller down, you naughty sausage.
They did say that they sold 12, but that means there's a really healthy attach rate for games on the PSVR as well, so that's pretty good.
Isn't that what I just said?
No, you were talking about an attach rate on PS4 consoles, no?
So that's about 6 PSVR titles. How many PSVR titles, how many games, separate games, are there actually?
Well, they said there's 150 games and experiences, which kind
150
of...
or more to see.
I think, yeah, that includes possibly a few fudging of things with the experience thing as well. But some of those are worth messing about with, and a lot of those in those sort of categories are free as well. But generally speaking, there's more than 100 games, and then I'd say there's 10 to 20, depending on your taste, which are of really high caliber, I think.
So actually, that's not bad at all.
It's all right.
They didn't give any breakdowns by PS4 model or anything like that, I'm assuming.
No, and obviously, you wonder, of that 70.6 million total, whether there's a few PS4s that are slightly redundant in that number because people may have upgraded and either sold them on, in which case they could be, another person using them, or maybe they're just not being used or not being used as much. And
but that's the same for
consoles.
any bit of electronic equipment.
That's fine. But I mean, there's always that number to be taken into account sort of when you're considering, how many sold in total, basically.
I mean, it's not like they're trying to do an Xbox 360 and say, yeah, we've shipped tens of million because you had to send everyone a second Xbox because of the Red Ring of Death.
That's one thing we didn't make clear, though. These are consoles that have been sold to consumers, not ones that are sitting in shops, basically. So these are really good, healthy figures, and, I think it wasn't that long ago that they, announced they did 60 million consoles. So getting up to the 70 million mark and doing more than 2 million headsets, that's really good. That's nice and healthy, and that's before Christmas. So yeah.
Do you know where that ranks the PlayStation 4 in the highest selling consoles of all time?
I don't know, Coleman. Where does that rank the PlayStation 4 highest selling consoles of all time?
10th. One behind the Game Boy Advance.
Whoa!
Yeah, and the highest selling console of all time, do you know what it is?
The Wii.
No.
PS2, no?
Yes, the PlayStation 2 of 155 plus million units sold worldwide.
Well, roger me with an avocado and call me Keith.
But if they can get past 81.51 million units sold, then they can overtake the Game Boy Advance. Then it's PSP, PS3, Xbox 360, Wii, PlayStation, Game Boy and Game Boy Color, which they count as one console for some reason, and Nintendo DS.
Yeah. Well, considering we've got another Christmas and at least another year or two out of the console, at least.
Oh God, do we have to have another Christmas?
Yeah, we do, mate. Sorry.
That's the way it goes every year. In fact, Coleman.
I have another one.
That's how calendars work. Your advent calendar should have clued you up on this.
God damn it! I've been following the Mayan calendar. I thought we stopped with Christmases now because the calendar stopped.
Possibly inebriated you too much to realise. Anyway, with the amount of time left, could possibly hit 100 million sold. I reckon possible in their lifetime.
I mean,
with a good lineup of games next year.
Don't forget as well, we've had the console revision, we've had the console sort of improvements as well, but we've not hit that point where the console's gone down in price.
No.
So when that finally happens, then sales are going to kick up even more. Because I remember a huge amount of sales for the PlayStation 2 were post PlayStation 2 Slim launch. And when that went down in price, they just had a huge spike in sales.
Yeah, it gets to a point where everyone can afford to have one everywhere sort of thing. But then I guess that was helped by the kind of DVD type thing and CD on the original.
Yeah, that has been a big contributor to it. So,
but I don't know if Blu-ray will help as much in that regard, but we'll see.
Here's an interesting fact.
Go on then.
Yes.
And I'm so surprised by this, if indeed it's Wikipedia, so whether or not it is an actual fact, I don't know. The NES sold more than the Super NES, by quite some margin.
I knew that.
I find that surprising.
There was quite a big backlash on the Super Nintendo at launch as well, because parents were angry that you couldn't play Nintendo cartridges on a Super Nintendo.
Plonkers.
Wow.
You can read all about these facts and more in Console Wars.
in bookshops near you, next to the Mr. November calendar section.
Yeah.
Do you know what a good number is?
70 million.
70 million, that's good. But take quite a lot away from that, you get to 11.
She was good in Stranger Things.
11 million.
Yeah, exactly. If you take 63 million away from it, you get 11.
Wow.
Mega Man 11, the follow-up, the hot follow-up to Mega Man X, presumably.
But Dan, Capcom said a few years ago that no one's interested in Mega Man anymore.
Well, we don't know if they're actually interested in it, but they are making another one. This may be the answer to a question that nobody's asked in the first place.
There was a thing a while ago when I remember when they lent Mega Man to Smash Brothers. That was shortly after the whole, no one's using Mega Man anymore. We're not making Mega Man titles anymore. No one's interested in Mega Man. And they just showed this clip at the tournament where someone pulled out Mega Man and it was like the character reveal and the whole crowd goes ballistic. And someone just captioned, no one's interested in Mega Man. Which is it was a really good way of using it. But we've seen Mega Man as like forgetting the dark times of the really bad Street Fighter Cross Tekken Mega Man, which they based Mega Man off the box cover art rather than the game character.
Oh, God, the American box cover art.
Yeah. But they had the character as that guy from the box cover art if he was in modern day, so he's like really fat and out of shape as Mega Man. It was an interesting idea, but it was a lot of Mega Man fans, like the diehards, were quite insulted by that. The Smash Brothers version was a bit more of a faithful rendition of the character, and then the Capcom Marvel, I always forget what those games are called.
Marvel vs. Capcom?
Thank you. That was much easier. They had Mega Man X in there recently as well. So, and then we've just had the launch of the second collection, Mega Man collection as well, which has all the X titles in it. So yeah, Mega Man is primed and ready, and they've interestingly gone like a 2D 3D type art style rather than the traditional pixel style. And I'm guessing pixel art's quite hard to make these days to make it faithfully look like a Nintendo game. But also, it looks very similar to the style that Mighty No. 9 that was going for and failed miserably on launch.
Oh dear. I mean, do you reckon this is a bit of a middle finger to Mighty No. 9?
Inafune, yeah, I totally reckon it.
I mean, we'll just put a super cynical mode on here. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the art. The art style they're going for here actually looks a bit sparse.
Looks a bit Mighty Number 9.
Oh yeah, that's true. Is that our new descriptive phrase for something? Well, yeah, I would, but it's a bit Mighty Number 9, isn't it?
To be fair though, I've never been a Mega Man fan. So
Well, you don't like platformers or fun.
You don't like fun,
Exactly.
Tim. We've already established this.
Well, I'm taking it a day at a time. We got him into Mario Odyssey. You know, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, that is actually quite impressive.
No, well, I always say a good Mario game transcends its genre. It's just a superbly well-made game.
As are other platformers, Tim.
Yeah, but yeah, anyway.
Broaden your horizons. That's your New Year's resolution, Tim.
No, believe me, I've tried enough platformers.
No. Your New Year's resolution is to play to completion Super Meat Boy, because I just want to see that game break you.
That would never work. I can't complete it.
No.
I love platformers. I can't do it.
I just want to see it break him.
So yeah, Mega Man 11. This is weird because they've changed the art style because the 9 and 10 they brought back the Nintendo style, NES style.
Super NES style, really more.
No, it was NES style. So that they arced the art style of Mega Man 1, 2, and 3 for the Xbox 360. And a lot of people were crazy about that at the time. And then they kind of didn't really follow it up. And it was more of a side project because they were doing bigger Mega Man titles, which since have been cancelled. And then Kenji Inafune had been released. And it was weird because he kind of left Capcom and went, "Hey, I'm the creator of Mega Man, and I can't make Mega Man anymore. So here's a Kickstarter. I'm going to make Mighty Number 9." Years later, it turns out that he didn't actually make Mega Man. He just worked on it years later. And and he's gone off, made Mighty Number 9. It's failed horribly, and they've gone, well, here's a kick in the teeth. We'll see if we can do it better than you can, and I think it's going to go that way. But like I was showing, I work with a fair few different gamers now, which is quite a novelty for me in the past few years. And I was showing off the trailer, going, "Oh, looks quite nice. This Mega Man 11. What do you think?" I just went, I wish they'd just like do something different with Mega Man rather than another bloody platformer. So I don't know. I don't know enough diehard Mega Man fans to see like how this is going to be received. But I'm certainly interested in looking at it. It kind of reminds me of where Nintendo took the Mario franchise and everyone went, "I want Mario to be a straight 2D platformer again." And they made new Super Mario Brothers, and it was just like the same classic style of game that you're used to on the older consoles, but with this beautiful sheen polish to it, where everything looks like a living cartoon. And yeah, I'm hoping it plays like that as well, because
although I'm kind of still slightly scarred by, you know, the kind of disconnect between the promise of and the actual final visual form of Street Fighter II HD Remix.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I think that's a different Capcom compared to what we've got this year, because Capcom got a lot of flack last year for just re-releasing old games and just ports of everything. And while they have still gone with a lot of ports to I know a few of the Resident Evil games have come to Switch this year. With the start of Resident Evil, the improvements made to Street Fighter, and now with this Mega Man announcement, it looks like they're kind of trying to turn a new leaf, and hopefully they can get back up there somewhere, because Capcom over the years, their name's been a bit sullied to what they used to be in my childhood.
Yeah.
Did either of you play Mighty Number 9, by the way?
Have I?
No.
No, I haven't. I heard it was abysmal, so therefore saved my money.
It was. If you want to see how abysmal, we do have a video on the Big Red Ramble on Big Red Barrel TV on YouTube. So
excellent. Someone else took the bullet for me on that one.
It was
me.
me. I took the bullet.
Thanks,
it was
Coleman.
awful. I remember I got so fed up with it that I switched it off and then put on the Mega Man collection instead and played like a couple of seconds of that instead.
Awesome. Well, there we go. Yeah, so Mega Man, it's not just Mega Man 11, there's also the slightly bizarrely titled Mega Man XX8.
Yeah.
What the devil's going on with that? That doesn't make any sense.
So when people talk about Mega Man, it's rare that people are talking about Mega Man X, and X8 is, it's not, it's one of these confusing titles, but they're adding it to PC and Nintendo Switch as well, and it's coming out to all the consoles and the PC, and that's added in with when you combine that with the collections of Mega Man and Legacy Collection 1 and 2, they've actually gone, hey, all the straight Mega Man games are on all consoles now, all current consoles and PC. But I don't think that's true. I know it's the main games, but I want like the Mega Man Soccer and all the other side games that aren't included. I want those in there.
Well, at least someone does. That's the way I look at it.
All the straight platforming Mega Man games are on all consoles now, by the looks of it. All current consoles.
Ouya?
Ouya is not a current console, Dan.
It never was, never will be.
Barely a console.
It's barely a thing.
It's an Android device that had some shoddily components shoved in it that could play some weirdly had exclusives. How did that console have exclusives?
I don't know how the hell it did that.
Money.
They like money.
Investors' money.
Money.
I found a brilliant video, and if I can find it again, I'll stick the link in, and also I have to show Tim. But it's kind of like watching the news announce the Ouya, and then follow it all the way till everyone starts just cacking on it completely and like reaction videos to people getting their Ouyas, and all this stuff is mixed in. It's brilliant, and I think it ends with someone sticking the Ouya in a toilet and weeing on it. If I can find it, I'll stick it up on the site.
Talking of Wii.
Oh, yeah.
That was a segue and a half. Talking of Wii, do you know what is the environmentally responsible thing to do, young Coleman?
Give Nintendo games to China?
It's to recycle Wii.
Like Waterworld.
Recirculate that Wii. And that's exactly what Nintendo are doing. In fact, they're not just recycling.
Costner.
They're remastering their Wii.
Sorry, I'm really impressed by myself for that deep dive.
Deep dive.
Another Waterworld joke.
Oh dear.
See, if you're a younger listener, there was a movie called Waterworld, which was a box office bomb and funded by the star Kevin Costner. And it opens with him peeing into a machine and then drinking recycled water from the pee. There you go. That's where that joke comes from.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Waterworld.
Spoilers for the opening of Waterworld.
Don't worry. The film will ruin itself. That won't do it for you. It's fine.
Has it? I mean, I used to watch that a lot as a kid. Is it
It's
not
Mad
aged
Max
well?
on water done badly.
Oh,
but
it's a terrible film.
I used to love it.
It's got like, isn't Dennis Hopper the bad guy?
Dennis Hopper's the bad guy.
With one eye. Anyway.
Oh, can we watch Waterworld when we're done? I love that film.
No more, Tim. No more beer for Coleman.
No more.
There's a little girl. She's got a map on her back. It's brilliant. Sorry, carry on.
So Nintendo, back on subject. Nintendo are releasing their remastered Wii and Wii games, including Super Mario Galaxy and The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, not in 720p, but 1080 of those Ps.
Wow.
For the NVIDIA Shield.
Oh, right,
Wait,
that thing.
What?
That thing.
They've stopped catching fire now, have they?
Wait, what?
It is. And that's happening in China. So I think this is all because the what now, Coleman?
China,
Brazil,
USSR,
USA,
Japan.
You see, for any of our younger listeners,
Street Fighter 2.
Street Fighter 2.
Tiger.
Uppercut. Yoga.
Oh, God, call the show. I can't do it anymore.
Yoga.
I think we've peaked.
Have we? We've hit peak BRB UK.
Is that Peak Coleman or Peak
BRB UK?
Yeah, peak
Just
BRB UK.
doing Street Fighter 2 announcer voices from the arcade game.
Call it a day there. Thanks, everyone. It's been a good run.
You win.
We definitely lose, in fact, Coleman. We all lose.
Oh, sorry. Tell me about the NVIDIA Shield that doesn't catch fire anymore.
The NVIDIA Shield. Which I'm not really that surprised it's coming out on the NVIDIA Shield because the GPU guts of the Switch are actually an NVIDIA Tegra processor.
Yes. In fact, when the Switch was first announced, they did say that a lot of there's a lot of similarity to the Switch and the NVIDIA Shield.
The NVIDIA.
Do I not say it right?
It's NVIDIA.
Oh, right. I've always said NVIDIA.
No, it's NVIDIA.
Wow. I worked in IT. Although I worked in the industry...
Was everyone just too nice to say anything?
Well, no, I think it's because I worked in an IT office in South Kensington, and people would not say cache. They would say, clear the cache.
Cache.
Could you clear the cache? And I got so annoyed with this, I'd start calling it a quiche. Just clear the quiche. Anyway, sorry, what I was talking about was the NVIDIA Shield.
Well done.
Apparently, there's a lot of similarities between the two, but whereas the NVIDIA Shield connects to your PC, the Switch is its own system, and you can take out and about in the world, which is brilliant.
It still seems odd to me that this is a thing Nintendo are doing when Nintendo don't generally bring their games out on other people's consoles. Even
but
old
the
ones.
size of the Chinese market is massive, and I don't know why. Why is this coming out on the Shield rather than the Switch in China?
Exactly. The Switch isn't released in China at all.
Not yet.
Which is weird. No,
I think it's releasing soon.
Is there some kind of crazy market penetration rate for this NVIDIA Shield then in China?
There's a weird thing going on. I mean, in China, they prefer PC products. Well, most consoles don't release in China, and not until recently as well. We've been talking last year, I think.
In China, to be fair.
Yeah, they were for a long time, but because of copyright issues, and that console ban was lifted, and last year, I think, both the Xbox One and the PS4s came out in China and did abysmally. So, apparently I can't say that word. The NVIDIA Shield is insane.
God damn it!
China!
China uppercut. We're just going to start mashing them all up now.
Anyway, so the rumours about this now is
Yoga Brazil.
Nintendo have gone, hey, here's a bunch of games. Not only is it Super Mario Galaxy and Twilight Princess, there's also Punch-Out, the Wii version, and I can't remember what the other game was. No one else knows either. That's great.
Wasn't it? What?
So it's Mario Galaxy, Twilight Princess, Punch-Out, and New Super Mario Brothers. Was that it?
Okay, maybe. Yes, that is exactly it. I looked it up just now. So those are all releasing, and that's got people salivating, going, ooh, 1080p versions of Wii games that are usable on the NVIDIA Shield. Does that mean they could be coming to the Switch in future? And I hope so, even though I don't know if the Switch can handle the 1080p versions. But that would be nice.
But hang on, so I just had a look at the tweet from @ZHughGX, which is a mighty fine name. Mm-hmm. It's not yet released in mainland China, so the NVIDIA Shield is coming to mainland China, where it will focus on games, and it will run popular PC games as well as Nintendo Wii games, such as Mario Galaxy, Twilight Princess, and Punch-Out.
That's right. I just probably didn't phrase it very correctly.
Yeah.
I've spoken about this before, I'm pretty sure. It might have been when you were on your break, though, Dan, so you might not have heard about it.
He was on a break.
We
were not on a break.
I always, every time I hear like any kind of similarities between the NVIDIA Shield and the Nintendo Switch, it always reminds me of, there was an EGX where they were doing the first ever showing of the Wii U for public play that wasn't like E3 or anything. And when we went to there, they had the Wii U and they had the NVIDIA Shield very, very close to each other. And I always like to think on that kind of expo and con circuit when those two were touring together, that they're sort of looking over and going, hey, what's that? What's that you got? NVIDIA Shield. Ooh. See, we got this thing and it's plastic and horrible and big and bulky. Do you think, like, if we stuck that in this, we could make that smaller and take it out of the house? And yeah, I think I like to think that's how they were made.
Child. So if I put that in there, right, we'll have a little thing we could take out of the house. It'd be amazing.
Well, I like to think, because when I'm talking about the NVIDIA Shield, that was essentially, it looked like a console controller that had a small screen stuck to the top of it.
Yeah.
And it was ugly and bulky and really quite heavy as well. But an impressive piece of kit. I remember playing the XCOM third-person game on there as well. And
yeah.
I like to think that, like one's gone, oh, that's really powerful. Oh, that's more convenient than this one. Let's merge together and see what happens. Fusion! And then out comes the Switch. That's my little bubblegum fantasy that I like to think about.
Thanks, Satcom. That was
all right.
It probably happened at a slightly more corporate level than the guys going on tour around the world.
Well, yeah, as
slightly romantic vision.
They're mostly staffed by contractors to come in for a couple of days, but
generally, not nice. Common. Thanks.
I like my dreams.
Yeah.
It could have been worse. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, that was a thing. Well done.
Or
Believe the phrase is cool story, bro.
maybe we could tie it into like the Reese's adverts they have in the US, where like the two, like one's walking down the road with Nintendo Wii U, and one's walking down the road with an Nvidia Shield, and then they crash into each other, and they're like, "You got Shield in my Wii U, you got Wii U in my Shield," and then it's like two great consoles with the flavor of one. If you don't know the Reese's adverts in the US, then this is a really stupid joke.
I do.
Oh, okay.
I do know them.
It's still a stupid joke, though.
It's still yeah.
Yeah. Either way, Coleman, whether you do or don't get it, it doesn't really truly matter.
Anyway,
No.
Nintendo Switch.
I really thought you were going to go the red car and the green car had a race. I really thought that was the direction you were going to go.
I've got some stories about that advert. Anyway,
Have you? There we go.
Anyway, Nintendo Switch, the Reese's peanut butter cups of consoles.
Mm-hmm. But I think that's
Glad that's
quite good.
settled.
And it'd be great if they could, show up on similar set-top devices in the future. Just saying, Nintendo.
Hey, Dan.
What?
Do you want to talk about the Destiny 2 Curse of Osiris?
Curse of
Curse NVIDIA.
Curse of
NVIDIA. Yeah.
Yeah, you sound really
Because I want to hear your thoughts, and then I'll give you my thoughts.
Oh, Coleman has thoughts as well.
They happen every now and then.
I don't have any thoughts apart from
Curse of Osiris
right
is
Slightly
being
done
billed
behind.
as an expansion to Destiny 2.
It's been billed as Season 2, which is weird because the game's not been out that long.
Don't get me started.
Okay, sorry. Carry on with your monologue.
And it's meant to, it's very much kind of presented itself as explaining the kind of the backstory of this kind of somewhat mythical character called Osiris, who was a warlock, props to you, Coleman, who went a bit mad, basically. He got a bit obsessed with the Vex, started doing things he shouldn't have done. Commander Slaphead got a bit fed up with him, kicked him out the tower. There we go. That's what happened. So, interesting backstory, interesting character. Interesting Vex monkeying around with time potential. Or so we thought. Yeah, it's a bit more Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, quelle surprise!
Sac de magique!
Is it worth 20 quid? Probably not.
Pain au chocolat.
Thought I'd keep the German theme going.
Oué the What?
It's in French.
Sorry, Dan,
You
carry
can
on.
tell when Tim gets bored, he's like, right, this is a segment I'm not interested in, so I'm just going to speak utter f***ing shit in the background.
Wait.
No,
Pot calling kettle black.
Come on, you're way worse than that than
Takes
I
one
am.
to know one.
We all do it.
Yeah, we do, you're right. So anyway, Curse of Osiris. So it's got some single-player content, as much as Destiny single-player, so it's got some more campaign missions, which amount to about 2-ish hours of content.
Have you played through all the single-player content already?
I have played through all the single-player content. It does go back to some old locations, which we have previously seen. It's got a distinctly, I don't know if you remember Destiny 1, it's got a distinctly
I do remember
Dark
Destiny
Below
1.
feeling to it.
Oh, no.
That
I
kind
haven't
of...
really forgotten Destiny 1. It all just blends into
Well,
one
the
big
dark days of the
Destiny
Dark
thing.
Below, Tim, they were, hey, here's an expansion. Where? Where is it?
Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
where is it?
it? But I mean, to be fair, they have given us a new location to explore, which is the size of a postage stamp, and that's enjoyable.
Right.
It's got one new public event, which is basically the map, which is slightly broken on PC because there's kind of those, because it's Bungie, they love their man cannons to fire people across a map.
Right.
Turns out
It's got man cannons!
It's the man cannons. But it turns out the physics logic is all worked out based on your frame rate. So on PC, it's practically impossible to make the jump because you just go steaming into a wall and instantly die.
Oh.
Brilliant.
So there we go. But the big selling point that they were really pushing for was this thing called the Infinite Forest, which they promised as an infinitely replayable reconfiguration of reality as the Vex do something about simulation and stuff. It turns out, actually, it's like just some subtly different corridors which look practically identical, and occasionally I'll switch out the enemies. And it is literally just slightly changing which direction the corridor bends as you go from point A to point B. Which is a massive disappointment because, although, yes, I can confirm the layout of those bits are different and it does change every time, since all the bloody tiles look completely bloody identical, it's like, well, it may as well just be the same blooming place.
Yeah. And does that just mean it's not as well designed anyway, kind of thing?
Well, I mean, I think what it comes down to with Destiny, the reason why it keeps getting away with it is because at its core, it's a really good, well put together shooter, and the gunplay is fun in the game, and that carries on. It is still fun, but you kind of get the feeling that they're not learning from their mistakes here. This is
just to sort of jump on not learning from their mistakes. I've got a question. So with Destiny 1, there was a big problem. Destiny came out, and the first expansion came out, and they raised the light levels, and
it locked everyone out of content
that you originally had with the standalone game. And they've done that again, haven't they?
Yes.
Less than a week after Black Friday sales, where people have picked up Destiny 2.
Yep.
How cheeky is that?
I know. And basically, bearing in mind the whole kind of experience point massaging they were doing as well, it's all looking a little disingenuous, really, isn't it? I mean, it's like... It's like... So basically now, you can do the base version of the raid at 300 light. They basically upped the power requirements because the maximum power level you can get has gone from 305 to 335. The maximum level's gone from 20 to 25. So, this means that still, if you haven't bought the expansion, the maximum power you can get is 305. Fine. If you really wanted a challenge, you could go into the Prestige version of the raid. Admittedly, get your ass handed to you, but technically, I don't see a problem letting people do that. But no, now, in order to actually, access the really high-end endgame content and to get the Platinum trophy on the PlayStation, you now have to shell out $20 or 20 quid to get the expansion. Otherwise, it is impossible to get those things.
That's ridiculous. And I'm particularly annoyed by this because I've got friends that never either tried Destiny or didn't pick up Destiny, went, oh, it's not for me. And then Destiny 2 came out and they've gone, how is it? It was really good. They've made so many improvements. I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying my time on it. Can't wait to do the raids with my friends at Extra Life and all that kind of stuff. And then they've...
Sick burn, Coleman, sick burn.
Yeah, well, hidden well, I thought. And then, so Black Friday rocks around and Destiny is £20 or £25 or whatever the deal is, wherever you get it. And I think HMV were doing it for £20, and literally 2 people I work with went out at lunchtime, picked up the game, came back, went, can't wait to play me some Destiny 2. Oh, you've updated it. Oh, I can't play the endgame content properly because it's level locked out unless I buy the DLC. Mm-hmm. What holy fresh madness is this? Not fresh madness, existing madness ported over from the previous game. It's ridiculous.
I mean, the way people are trying to justify it is that, just view it like, this is like a World of Warcraft expansion in order, it's subscription.
Yes, but the World of Warcraft expansions happened 1, 2, 3 years after each game. They don't come out months after the launch. You don't do this quick.
The more I think about it, the more I think Bungie really needs to decide what they want Destiny 2 to be.
They want it to be a cash cow, money-grabbing, whale-hunting...
Well, no, I mean, you could say the same about any commercialised entertainment, Tim. Ultimately, the purpose of any video game, ultimately, is to improve, essentially increase shareholder value. It's got to be a commercially viable product.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I totally agree with what you're saying there, and I agree that's the problem with a lot of big games now is that they are big business and they are beholden to the rules and regulations and the things that come along with big business.
Shareholders,
absolutely, yeah. But for me, the problem I had with Destiny was never the game. Like you say, the base game for Destiny, the base, just playing and the kind of shooting mechanic and movement and everything within the confines of what you define as the base game is fantastic. My problem has never been with that. My problem has always been that I felt I wasn't quite getting the game that I wanted to exist around that system. And I I felt alienated by the business model that I very much sensed they were chasing with this game.
And this is coming from a man who's not had to buy the game or any of the DLC. He gets to play any of the stuff I've bought. So you could tell he's annoyed with the practices.
But I didn't buy this game.
Exactly.
Otherwise.
No, that's what I'm saying. If you didn't have to buy it and you're annoyed with the practices, you know they're wrong.
Yeah. But just to put it in perspective as well, I mean, on day and date, the Division, or Ubisoft released patch 1.8 for the Division, which basically included a whole massive new PvE arena, a whole new game mode, a whole load of other stuff, rebalancing of everything, and the price of it was nothing.
Yeah, and while we're giving props to supporting a game, right, for Ubisoft, also recently announced that Rainbow Six Siege hit over 25 million players in its lifetime, and that was derided at launch.
It was, but they put the time and effort into it.
But they really supported it, and it was a good game. Like, if I had more active people that I was playing with, I think I would have played it more, type of thing. But I
mean, there is clearly, however, something odd going on at Bungie. Something isn't quite adding up here. I mean, I think they need to start being more honest with their customers. I think that's a good
note to send to every game publisher at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment.
Exactly. All of you stop misbehaving. That's why you can't have nice things.
We've got enough political problems without games being a problem as well.
Yeah, God, tell me about it. It comes so close to being something that's great, but somehow it just feels like a half-formed idea. Because to be honest, I'd much rather, if it was right, here's Destiny, we're going to trickle out content, and if it was, hey, the expansions are now going to be free because we're rolling in money because of Eververse, which is a whole other bloody thing with this update. All of the cool grindy stuff is now locked behind Eververse. If they were taking that route with it, then fine, okay, I'd let you off, kind of a rather lackluster in content terms expansion. I mean, admittedly, the new raid activity, the raid lair, which people keep saying layer for some reason, it bothers me.
Possibly just to annoy you, Dan.
Kevin
that's
White.
all.
Oh, Kevin White.
He claims it's from the West Country. I'm going down my layer.
Imagine the disapproving tone of his mother going, "Oh, Kevin.
Oh, Kevin, why'd you do that? Oh,
it's not layer, it's lair. Although it might be the accent. Maybe it's the West Country thing.
It might be. It could be. Who knows? But in America,
they say layer. I say layer.
Well. I actually did look this up. I looked this up in the Oxford Dictionary. Mm-hmm. Turns out it's pronounced wrongly in America. Like aluminium is pronounced wrongly in America.
Aluminum.
Shut up.
Do you know what? I for a long time I said layer as. I said lair as lair, and I can't help it. It's just the way raised. And I was trying to reference the game Lair, the dragon game on the PlayStation 3, which was terrible. And I was talking about that, and I think I was talking about it with Kev as well, and he got confused as to what the hell I was talking about because I kept saying lair instead of lair. So hey,
God damn it, is Kev trolling me again?
Maybe.
Yeah, so anyway, I mean, to kind of full disclosure, the raid lair hasn't yet come out. That is tomorrow, and I'll be trying to play through it and see what it's like.
Right.
But there is also, there's like an additional multiplayer crucible map. That's fine. There are new exotics, most of which seem to have been lifted from Destiny 1, which is interesting. And there are 2 new strikes, but those 2 strikes are just basically 2 of the missions of the 5-mission campaign, but with some more bad guys in them and some new lines of dialogue. But they are otherwise structurally identical to those single-player missions.
Oh, that's a bit poor.
Yeah.
Recycling. Also, I have a question, Dan. What you said there was single-player content, but like how many hours of single-player content?
2-ish.
Ooh, that's pretty sparse as well.
There's a bunch of grindy stuff. Like there's kind of 11 unlockable weapons, which you have to do, frankly, a ridiculous amount of grinding towards because it's all about gathering materials to complete some prophecy that Friar fanboy.
Sounds like great fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's for you, Tim, put it this way. I mean, the raid is still fun with a bunch of mates.
Wait. Is it not for Tim if it's free?
Well, I think Tim's so belligerent that no, it wouldn't be.
Because I was going to try and get Tim to play more Destiny 2. Because I can't get Alex
there
to do it
are
at the
so
moment.
many other games I'd rather play.
But Tim, we could have some fun playing Destiny 2.
I'd literally rather play Destiny.
Can I at least get you to finish the main campaign? I'll help you.
No, there are so many games I would rather play right now that no. I'd rather play more Mario Odyssey than play more Destiny 2.
You make it sound like Mario Odyssey's bad.
Mario Odyssey sounds like a fantastic... If you don't want to play it, Tim, I'll happily borrow Coleman and play
I'd
Mario
much rather
Odyssey.
play that.
You're not having
Destiny.
my console.
No, I'm assuming I'm having to borrow you, Coleman, and the Switch just comes with. But yeah.
Oh my God.
You know.
That sounds very dark. Anyway, let's move on.
So anyway, but you're right, there are more games to play and more games to talk about. I mean...
What if... Live stream. Me, Dan and Tim. Big Red Barrel UK. The quest to get Tim through the main campaign.
I'd do it.
We could do it, Dan. We could do it.
I tell you what.
Come on, Tim.
I will... The only way you will get me to do that is for charity.
Funny, wasn't there a charity event about a month ago where
people could still pay into our Extra Life accounts. That's still doable until
that's
Christmas.
Fair.
We could do this before Christmas.
Right, listeners, you got Twitter, you got Facebook, you've got the forums. Let us know if this is a good idea. Do we need to get Tim through the main campaign of Destiny 2? And is it worth some money for charity? Let us know.
So I kind of my disappointed father act with Destiny 2 continues. It kind of showed such promise and then is slowly it all the way, really.
How much money is this?
The
how much
expansion pass is £30. So
there's
15,
and otherwise it would be what, £20?
I'm not sure if you can buy it separately. Actually,
you can buy it separately.
You can.
Separately.
All right,
15, 16, 17, something like that. It was very close to 15.
Okay,
if it wasn't 15. Would you like to know my experience with the Curse of Osiris?
Go on then, sir.
So I finished my 4-day stint of work today. I came back this morning and I thought, I'll play me some Curse of Osiris. That's the voice I use when no one's around.
Right, okay.
And loaded it up.
Use that voice when no one's around.
Thank you. Loaded it up, jumped to the tower. I noticed that bright engrams are now like illuminated engrams or something.
Yes.
Yep. Claimed one of those, and then it kicked me out for server maintenance for 2 hours. So I went to bed.
Good work.
That's my Curse of Osiris.
The beauty
experience.
of an online experience.
I went, it's kicked me out because no one was around. I used that voice.
You muppet.
Thank you.
Anyway,
sorry. Carry on.
Anywho, so that's Curse of Osiris.
We love it.
Yeah, kind of get your shit together, Bungie. All right, get your shit together. We know you can do better than this, so do better. What I say. Yeah. Anyway,
doesn't tempt me back into the game at all. Put it that way.
Yeah. Well, but you, for some reason, though, Tim, despite your vehement, whatever I don't know. Whatever
vehement.
They're the chocolate mints that you take after
they
dinner.
They are.
They're Viscounts.
Yeah, Tim, you've been playing Battlefront II Casino Edition.
What the hell?
Well, look, as said, we got a console with one,
you've just been tearing into
copy.
Destiny 2, okay, for its microtransaction heavy.
For good reason.
Yeah, but now you're gonna go and say that you've been philandering with Battlefront 2.
Well, to be fair, I haven't played that much of it, so I'll come back when I've really kicked the tires completely. Then. But the only other thing, I played a little bit of Assassin's Creed Origins, but you've probably played, you already discussed that quite a bit.
It's almost like we've talked about it on 2 shows.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. But I played a bit of that, and yeah, opening seems good, but so far doesn't seem to be massively different from most Assassin's Creed games. But
really?
Hey. Well,
Are
so
you sure
far,
you're playing the right game, Tim?
I've got an eagle, and it's a bit more countryside around the small town
It is
I'm in.
very different. It is very, very different to most Assassin's Creed games.
Well, in the first couple of hours, I like it, and I will probably play more of it. But I don't see what everyone's quite raving about yet. But that could be just because I'm early days. But
so everyone else is wrong, is what you're saying?
Not necessarily.
Well, we spoke about it because I caught Tim playing. I was like, "Oh, you playing Assassin's Creed?" He's like, "Yeah." How is it? It's a bit slow. I was like, I have heard it takes an hour and 45 minutes to get through the intro, so it apparently opens up after that. So wait your time. Usually I don't agree with the, hey, you have to play for this long before the game opens up. But then again, I played through 24 hours of Final Fantasy 13 before it apparently opened up.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
But anyway, I did play the first couple of hours just of the campaign of Battlefront 2 as well. And yeah, so far, like, it's above average and like looks nice and plays okay kind of thing. Like I was fine with the story that they're doing around the character. They're doing main character's fine, and I quite like her introduction, and that is all okay. The one thing that surprised me so far is I haven't got on with and I've only just got to the first level of that. So, but the kind of flight controls, it's in a TIE fighter. I had to invert because I was rubbish without inverting for some reason. And then, yeah, I don't know if it's just because I've played quite so much Eve Valkyrie and just got used to how smooth that is. And the fact it's in VR definitely helps. But
oh god!
But I don't know. Like I probably need a bit more time with this. But I'm not sure I like the new control method that they're going with. You've got kind of basically most of your movement is done on the right stick, but then you've got throttle going up and down on the left analog stick, which would be fine if it wasn't for the fact you've also got like a spin going left and right with it. So if you're slightly off angle and you want to speed up, you'll also end up spinning a bit as well. And yeah,
surely you must be able to remap that though, right?
There is a legacy thing which I haven't messed around with yet, which apparently makes it more like it was in the last game. But I want to just see if it takes a bit of time just to get used to this, and if I get a bit more used to it. But at the moment, yeah, I don't know. I'm
so
struggling
basically
with
at the moment you're too lazy to change the option in the menus.
Well, no, I just want to see if I get used to the new way of doing things, and if there's a reason for getting used to it that way. I don't know, but at the moment I haven't been enjoying that.
Name a moment in your life where you've ever been okay with getting used to a new way of doing things.
VR, there you go.
Damn kids.
But yeah, as I said, a bit early days for that, but I'll come back when I've played through more of the campaign and sort of arcade modes and stuff, basically. But yeah,
so I have a question.
At the moment. Yeah.
How come you're okay with that, which presumably you paid money for?
Kind of. We got it with the console in a good deal.
Okay,
and
so EA received some money for your... Okay. And yet, Destiny 2...
To be fair,
which you are essentially just leeching off Coleman.
To be fair, though, I was bribed into liking Battlefront 2 by EA, so...
I'm confused by that.
I'm confused by that. Tell me more,
What's
Tim.
going on? Have we got an exclusive? What's happened? We're going to blow the doors off of this. Gamergate all over again.
In Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, which I play on mobile, they literally went, hey, Battlefront 2 came out today. Here, have some Kylo Ren. I was like, oh, I was literally collecting him. That's good. Oh, now I can level him up. Thanks.
Hang on. How much money have you thrown at this Star Wars mobile game, Tim?
Over the 2 years I've been playing it, I believe the grand total... Well, actually, no. It was the £1.69 rate that I bought in at, but in 3 of those occasions, it was discounted from £1.69.
I have a question.
Yes?
How many times have you made bought microtransactions on that game while you're drunk?
Literally, like, there was the 3 times it was on sale and the 1 time I was drunk. Like, there are 4 transactions that I've done in that game.
I love the idea that you get drunk, you're like, I probably will put down some money to get Kylo Ren.
To be fair, well, I was slightly drunk, but it was also like, hey, they just did a really good upgrade. I haven't really given them money before. Here, have some money.
Don't worry, I've done the same. I've had like a Christmas party and then playing Marvel Heroes going, Do you know what? I will just buy Groot.
I honestly think I would give them more money if things were more reasonably priced as well, but that's another question for...
If you weren't buying blind boxes.
The wonderful contradictory world of Timothy Hibbs. It's brilliant, isn't it? Yes.
Well, it's more. I would buy more on mobile games if they were structured like DLC rather than microtransactions of blind resources and stuff.
But the problem is DLC is increasingly becoming like microtransactions these days, so who knows?
Yeah, that's a big problem.
So it's not all misery, doom and gloom and complaining about crap because we're old. Coleman's actually been having some fun with video games. Please tell me you have.
I have.
Have you played L.A. Noire before, Dan? It's not the most cheery of games.
Oh,
it's not the
man.
most cheery, but it's a bloody good game.
It's great.
I love
L.A.
Noire. I've loved L.A. Noire for a long time, especially because there was a weird period where everyone covered L.A. Noire and went, "This is a brilliant game," and then a week later went, "This is."
I loved it when it came out.
Yeah, I know. I did. The reason I bought this game originally was because of Sarcastic Gamer Pink Show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were. If you don't know the show, mothers playing games together and talking about them, and the way they were talking about L.A. Noire was like, "Hey, we got really busy, hectic lives, but we get some time in for L.A. Noire, and it's kind of like an episodic TV show built into a AAA game." That sounds perfect, and tried it out and really, really loved it and did play it. It's weird because, so if you don't know, it's a noir style procedural cop
police
game.
Police
procedural set in LA. Very much LA Confidential inspired game from Rockstar. And the way they set it out, it's one of those games where you're playing everything, like every level is themed and has a title to it, and it's like you're playing a different episode of a TV show each time. And I kind of played it like that. I wouldn't burn out on this game. I would play 1 or 2 episodes a night at most until I went through it.
But it really lended itself well to that and felt like a good thing because of it, no?
Yeah. But that's the thing no one really talks about. What everyone talks about is the facial capture and the whole system around that. This is a game where you're solving crimes, you're going out, you're finding evidence, you're chasing down perps, and when you finally caught your suspect, you've got them in an interrogation room and you have to talk to them and interview them, and you're meant to judge by their face whether they're lying or telling the truth or whether they're hiding something. Big problem with that I've always found is some of these actors aren't that great. And when you're looking for someone, you're like, they look really shifty. They look dead shifty. I doubt you because you are dead shifty. And you hit doubt, and it just turns out they're not a very good actor. So they just look shifty all the time.
Yeah, but like I could always explain that away within the confines of the game. Like, some people don't look shifty when they're being shifty, kind of. You know, that's a real life thing that people have to deal with.
Oh yeah, and it's turned into some very funny memes.
I never had as much of a problem with that as some people seem to, but anyway.
But it's got some interesting point, like, because it's really weird because you see all these kind of unknown extras, and then all of a sudden, like, someone you recognise will turn up. The case in point, the main guy in it is from Mad Men, which, when I first played the game, I never watched Mad Men, and then I watched Mad Men after. I was like, is that dude? And there's the guy who he's like J.J. Abrams' mate, and J.J. Abrams sticks him in every film and TV show. I forget his name, but he played Matt Parkman in Heroes, and that really distracted me the first time because I was like, I kept going, Matt Parkman, follow the turtle, Matt Parkman.
But he looked like really spot on as well. So.
He does as well. And then the other, like one of the guys is I forget the actor's name as well. I'm terrible at actor names. He's the Mad King in Game of Thrones, not Game of Thrones. God damn it, Lord of the Rings. There's 2 Mad Kings.
Boromir? No.
No, not
one
Boromir.
Of them is...
The father of Boromir.
Yeah.
Yeah, him.
Dadamir.
Yeah, he's in it as well. He's a very good actor. And yeah, so anyway, the game looks stunning. It's by Rockstar. It's open world, so immediately you start playing it and you get to an open world section and go, I know how to do open world sections. You run someone over and you lose points because it's a cop game and you're going to be a good cop. And that's what you do.
That's why I like getting my partner to drive in that game.
I used to do that, but there was actually I might do it now. It's on the Switch because on the PlayStation and Xbox there was an achievement and a trophy for driving yourself for so long. But yeah. So now the game's on the Switch. It looks exactly the same. All the DLC's added, although they still make you log into the Rockstar Social Club to unlock one of the suits, which is a bit odd because you're on the Nintendo Switch and not on a PlayStation or an Xbox, so I don't see what the online component's about. And it's not even an online game. What's the point? Gameplay's the same. It's got the HD rumble thing going, so whenever you walk over a clue that pops up, the vibrate just goes off like mad, so I'll switch that off now. Still looks cracking. The only real big change I can see, other than its portability, is the whole truth, doubt, lie system that's been changed slightly.
I heard that.
Yeah,
For the
truth,
better?
Marry, snog, avoid is what it is now.
marry, snog, kill.
Snog, kill.
Yeah. So truth and lie are now good cop, bad. It's lie, good cop, and bad cop. So doubt has been replaced with bad cop, which works for the better. Because I don't know if you guys remembered this. You get to a point, you're like, well, I don't know if they're lying, but I know they're definitely not telling the truth. I'll hit doubt. And it's something like, did you see this person at this time? And you hit doubt, and they're like, you're lying! I'll kill you! I'll kill you, you son of a... And you're like, what? That seems to be a fly off that...
mood changes.
Yeah, it was like the punching the reporter in Mass Effect that went around as a meme for a while. By changing it to bad cop, you know exactly what you're getting now and not calling it doubt. If you missed out on L.A. Noire, pick it up. It's out on not just Switch, it's out on Xbox 360. Sorry. I guess it is technically.
Yeah.
It's re-released on Xbox One and PS4 and PC with like a better graphics set. It's also on HTC Vive as well, which I haven't tried that version yet. I will be doing soon.
That's the one thing that kept me from buying it on the PS4 is, and I still might, but the fact I'd really like there to be some PSVR kind of support with that content coming to HTC
well,
Vive.
there's a surprise.
Nice,
Well, I was kind of interested for it's because HTC, the VR Vive and Steam and all those guys, they basically worked with Rockstar to create this port of the game, but it's not a proper port. It's select missions that have been taken. And when I heard that, I thought that meant you'll be sticking your headset on, going and checking out for some forensic scenes, seeing some virtual Lady Bush, interrogating some people, and that's about it. Apparently not. You've got some driving levels, you've got some fist fights, basically the whole game experience is in there.
Well, that's interesting because if they're working together on that, then that could be as an experiment and a platform to doing more with VR in the future as well.
Most probably, yeah. That's what they said about a lot of different ports on the GTA license before, like, bigger versions of GTA came out. So it'll be interesting to see. But if you've got a Nintendo Switch, get it on Switch because that means the game is portable. If you've got a PS4, or if you've got a Pro or you've got Xbox One X, then you get the cool 4K versions of L.A. Noire, and it is a gorgeous looking game. Still a gorgeous looking game. And if you've got HTC Vive and you've been able to play the L.A. Noire HTC Vive port, let me know how that is, because I'm interested to hear before I give it a go myself.
Fantastic. Well, there we go.
Sweet.
Old games made slightly less old again.
Well, I've been waiting for L.A. Noire to come to backwards compatibility for a long time, and it hasn't. And then once Red Dead Redemption came to backwards compatibility and I booted that up on the Xbox One, it's very dark and grey and dingy. And it turns out I don't want backwards compatibility. I want games to look better. I want them to look how they look in my head.
How you would like to remember them.
Yeah, if GoldenEye looked how I remembered GoldenEye looked and not how it actually looks, I'd love it.
Some things are best left in the past. Like Jet from Gladiators.
Oh no! Right, I'm googling.
No, don't do it, Coleman.
Definitely Wolf from Gladiators, though.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a terrifying man.
I have a quick question for Mr. Coleman. Did you ever complete the game the first time around?
No, I got to a certain point, and I won't spoil what it is because people still haven't played L.A. Noire, and I know we've got
no spoilers, and literally no spoilers. But one of my favorite's possibly the wrong word. One of my most memorable and fondly remembered endings to a game ever.
Okay, all right. I got to a point where something happened, and I kind of there was kind of two things. I got annoyed with the game where I stopped playing and intended to go back, but also what happened is I'd moved from my house in Portsmouth to London, and just was working constantly, never got to play it again. So I've always been intending to go back to it, and I thought backwards compatibility would help, but instead of re-release
definitely
helps.
one worth sticking through, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I fully intend to this time. And as well, I had all the DLC up front as well, because I had a special pack of the game. And the
DLC was pretty good as well.
It was good, but the problem was there was a lot added to the game, and it the DLC stuff. It was good to play through the game, then get the DLC. I think rather than play through it in order. Kind of like when Assassin's Creed 2, they had the missing sequences. I played everything in row, and it just gets to this point where you're like, oof, this feels very filler all of a sudden. So yeah, but power through.
All done. No worries. So we are running long. We probably ought to disappear. Tim, Tuesday is a Christmas Tuesday. What's happening on Christmas Tuesday?
Tuesday is a Christmas Tuesday, and if anyone doesn't know, almost each and every week. It won't be for the subsequent weeks after this till the end of the year, basically. But other than that, every week throughout the year, we have an event called Tabletop Tuesday that we run every Tuesday. This is the final one for the year. Will be our Christmas special, and we're having a theme of stocking fillers, basically. And yeah, we've got lots of little games, but all awesome little games. Secrets is one of our headline games. We've also got 2 other headline games with special guests showing them off in the travel version of Ominos, which was a great little game, and a new game called Yogi as well, which is a version of another game that we've had before, but still, both of the creators of those games will be there to show them off. And we've got a whole host of other games, including Cortex 2, I think, is it Complex? But anyway, yeah. A host of other games that can be won and played on the evening, and some more new games on top of that, including a travel version of Hive as well, which is a really popular game. So we've got another version of that for people to play. And yeah, should be a really good night. Loads of prizes throughout the evening, loads of new games to play. And it is definitely our one Tabletop Tuesday of the year not to miss. It's always a good one.
Excellent.
I just looked up Jet from the Gladiators.
Oh God, you shouldn't have.
Current day, and she's still cracking looking. I would, just so you know.
Thanks for that. That's yeah.
Also, I have an interesting story.
Oh,
yeah.
It's very quick. Don't worry. I met Shadow from the Gladiators.
Good.
Before he had his drugs ban and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And got his autograph after playing Star Fox on the SNES with him.
That well-known multiplayer game.
I'm glad we brought it back to games.
Yeah, there was it was a competition Nintendo thing. Nintendo used to travel around. Yeah,
And
Nintendo
set you
used
up
to
with drug cheats.
They used to travel around in a big truck, and the truck would open up and had all these arcade cabinets, but they weren't arcade cabinets because they were all TVs and SNESs. And you'd go in and play a bunch of games, and the idea was to sell you on the SNES, and you'd go out and buy it yourself. But also they had there's different celebrities that would come and play games against you, and you do score challenges and stuff. So I played their main game tester at Street Fighter 2 Turbo on the SNES. Was it Turbo? Probably Turbo.
Possibly Turbo.
I don't know. I'm asking Tim because I don't know Street Fighter 2 as well as he does.
That was on the SNES.
Okay, so it was that one. And I played a score challenge of Star Fox on the SNES against Shadow from the Gladiators. So there you go. Gladiator tie-in. Nintendo.
Jolly good.
All done.
Although the name of the game you were mentioning is very complicated. But anyway.
That's really an appropriate joke that just popped into my head. I'm not going to do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Dan.
No, I shall not. I
Jet
shall
from
resist.
the Gladiators, though.
What?
Jet from the Gladiators, though.
Well, you know.
She's up there with Carol Vorderman for me.
Really?
Whoa.
If the date went well, Coleman, you'll be glad you ate her. Oh, come on, Coleman. It's
leaving
Christmas.
a bad taste in my mouth, Dan.
To be honest, I think your I Would Do Jet
Told
was
you she was
worse
getting on
than
a
the
bit.
Glad You Ate Her, but that might just be me.
What?
Oh, God.
I thought that I Would Do Jet. I thought that was worse than the Glad You Ate.
I didn't say I would do Jet. I said I still would.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of the same thing,
Do
Coleman.
what? Hold hands.
That was not what you were implying.
Let's wrap up.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to go because, well, we're going to go. So thank you ever so much for
Because
listening.
we've already gone.
Yeah, we have. I'm sure at some point in the next week or two, we might be taking a bit of a break for Christmas. We don't know when yet, but yes, we need time to play with our presents.
We need to stop being so burnt out.
Yeah, one thing that we didn't mention, though, the Game Award things are going on tonight, so we'll be out of date by the time this podcast comes out, but we'll probably talk about that next week.
We're only out of date if we acknowledge them.
Well, I just did.
Damn it, Tim.
Well done, Tim. You're the best.
Did I break the Space Tim continuum again?
What?
The Space Tim continuum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
The Higgs boson.
That's really good. I like that.
Thank you. Anyway, we're going to go because we've run out of stuff to say. We're now just talking even more than usual.
Why change the norm?
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Anyway, we're going to go because I've got to go and grumble at Destiny 2 some more. So yeah,
for another 47 million hours.
It was only 3,000. So yeah, we're gonna go, and you're gonna listen to the show and go, that was a show, and yes, it was. You're right, it was a show. But we'd like to say thank you very briefly to some people before we disappear. Nobody from iTunes because no one's writing anything on iTunes. From the forums, I would like to say thank you to Stealthy Joe.
And on Twitter, thank you to Nelly Gabriel Romo. On Facebook, thank you to Richard Kirk and Kyle Zeichman. I think I got that right this time.
Thank you, everyone.
There we go. And talking of Facebook, I'd like to give a shout out to Medivet in Langley because they've put a post up about my cat.
Okay.
What? Seriously?
In Langley?
In Langley, which is where I live.
Right.
I thought you lived in Slough.
Thought you meant Langley in America.
I thought Langley was where the CIA is.
Yeah, I was very confused what the CIA were interested in Hobnob for.
You know, no. You know how like people who live in Archway like to say they live in live in Archway, like to say they live in Lower Highgate.
But you did confuse me. I did think the CIA were after your cat.
CIA.
Not the E-I-E-I-O,
CIA.
right?
C-A-T.
You sound like China trying to say like Puerto Rico and China. China.
Oh, God.
Puerto Rico. Let's
Can
wrap
I
up.
just say how... also, I've just got an email while we're still continuing to talk on this show, which just won't die.
The show that wouldn't die.
Free on Humble Bundle at the moment of this recording, rather apropos of all the stuff that's going down between North America... basically between two fat men with silly haircuts. Homefront Revolution, I believe, is for free.
Not very good.
No, it's not very good, but, you know, hey.
Free is free.
It's free. Homefront is up. You two can prepare for the apocalypse.
Homefront?
Doubtless will happen. Anyway, I'm still trying to find the link to the post about my cat. There we go.
Can we go now?
No! All right, we're going now. I've sent Coleman a link about my cat.
You're holding up the show.
That's quite all right. Anyway, thank you ever so much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. Well, I have been Dan.
I might have been Tim.
And I have been Wolf.
Rawr. 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 Gladiator. And on a first date as well.
Oh.
So until next time, dear listeners, toodle bye.
You and your ears are quite welcome.
For the podcasting goodness that you just heard.
Why not roll on over
To BigRedBarel.com.
for more podcasts?
News, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet. BigRedBarel.com.